from Boston University, Macklin Celebrini.
Yeah, that was fun to watch. And of course, he gets the hug from Mom, puts on the jersey of San Jose, looking great, looking great. And then this announcement, take a look.
The Montreal Canadiens are proud to select Ivan Demidov.
So good to see Celine Dion out. She was announcing the Montreal Canadiens first-round draft pick. And I love this. The young Russian winger afterwards said that getting drafted and then meeting Celine Dion was like a book or a movie. Gotta love the kid.
Les Sénateurs sont fiers de sélectionner the Calgary Hitman of the WHL, Carter Yakimchuk.
Yeah, the Ottawa Senators picking up a highly coveted defenseman. Big boy, 6'3" from the Calgary Hitmen. This was the first time the Sens had picked in the first round in 3 years. All right, Calgary Flames, their 9th pick, and they got Zane Parekh from the Memorial Cup champs Saginaw Spirit. Maple Leafs, they went with defenseman Ben Danford from the Oshawa Generals of the OHL. They were picking 31st. Rounds 2 through 7 go today in Las Vegas. And joining me now is someone we didn't hear your name, John, get picked. I would have thought you might have gone mid-20s maybe? No?
You know what, Roger? I was waiting for my name to be called, but
all right,
it never happened.
Here, let me call it right now. John Viveiros, host of the Hot Take Hockey Podcast. We choose him. There you go. You got drafted.
Hey, thank you so much, Roger. Yeah, you know what? It was a fun draft. I was waiting for my name, but a lot of great names called last night, Friday night. And I mean, you look at specifically across Canada, there was 18 Canadians called, 9 from the OHL. So you kind of named some of them there. I think for the Toronto Maple Leafs, they trade back from 23 to 31, get Ben Danford. But other Canadians were probably at more of the spotlight there, whether it's the Calgary Flames not getting the iconic Iginla, the second Iginla coming on their team, but also getting a game-changing defenseman in Zane Parekh. I think that's really going to be a game-changer for the Flames going forward. They haven't really had that game-breaking defenseman. And then same thing with the Ottawa Senators, as you said, 6'3", right shot, Carter Yakimchuk. I thought they were going to maybe go more of the offensive side, but Yakimchuk kind of brings it all. He brings that offense, he brings that scoring, and he also brings a bit of that edge with that physicality. So I like what the Canadiens did in the first round. Of course, Vancouver did not have a first-round pick, and then Edmonton, ironically, ended up trading right at the end.
And with 18 Canadians, is that a good showing for Canada the first round? Or typical?
Very much so, Roger. I mean, you know what? The one thing that I think Canadians will talk about is we still haven't seen that top-end Canadian goalie back. Like, I mean, you go back the last 10, 15, 20 years, you've seen guys like Marc-Andre Fleury getting drafted very high. You just haven't seen that goaltending, and there was not a goalie drafted in that first round. So I think maybe that's the conversation. But yeah, for sure, I think the U.S. National Development Program in the U.S. have definitely been on the rise recently, but they only had 4 draftees in that first round versus the 18 Canadians. So I think that's a huge difference to look at.
All right, and let's talk about Celebrini. What makes him number 1?
So I think Macklin Celebrini is definitely in that upper echelon. I think when you look at Connor McDavid, Nathan McKinnon, he's maybe not right there, but I think his dynamic ability with the puck, off the puck, he really showed it with Boston University. I think that maturity really came into his game. And then, of course, what we saw at the World Juniors. So I think when a lot of prospects, especially drafted high, the expectation is there. But you just saw it with Alexis Lafreniere, who was drafted first overall in 2020, really break out for the New York Rangers in the playoffs. So give these guys 2 to 3 years to really break out. Celebrini might need that time because the San Jose Sharks have, of course, been a struggling team. But I think his dynamic ability, his shot, his definitely his hands are probably the things to stand out most with Macklin Celebrini.
How do number 1s handle that pressure? Do they do all right overall?
For the most part, especially guys that have had those role models, I think for Celebrini, grew up a Canucks fan, knows the market and the pressure of a Canadian market. He was actually at one of the Canucks playoff games, so he was right there in the thick of it. He knows the pressure of the Canadian stage. He's going to go to a maybe more quiet stage in San Jose, and that might help his development. He's going to have a lot of guys that are around his same age to develop through, and that's not always the case for first overall picks. I mean, Connor McDavid comes into the stage with the Edmonton Oilers, kind of labeled as that savior, where Macklin Celebrini might be that with San Jose, but in a smaller market, and he's joined by a lot of other younger guys. So I think for Celebrini, he's in a better case in that situation. And his dad worked for the Golden State Warriors, so he knows the area. His family home's only like 45 minutes from the San Jose Sharks arena, so that works out well as well.
Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot, and if you can't answer this, it's perfectly okay. If you know it, I'm going to be impressed. Has there ever been a dead last draft pick who's made it to the NHL? Like in round 7, 31st pick, or whatever round it is, has there ever been anyone in those later rounds, especially the last spot, who's made it to the NHL?
I mean, give me the answer, Roger.
I don't know. I know it's unfair, and I apologize.
No, you're good. I mean, there's been iconic ones late in the draft at the very end, or the 7th round pick when you want to talk about Henrik Lundqvist or Pekka Rinne. The very last pick, I'd have to pull up the history books on that one, but a lot of iconic late draft choices. But not the one that there's definitely been a few that have played NHL games, but to answer who's played the most as the last draft choice, I don't have that one handy.
You know what? The fact you know the last round, man, that's good enough for me. That's impressive anyways, as always, John. I know you know your stuff.
Thanks, Roger. I appreciate it.
All right, man. Thanks for joining us, John. John Viveiros is the host of Hot Take Hockey.